thanks for joining us. The bulletin begins right here, right now. Former Director of the National Service Authority, Osei Assibey Antwi, has been granted bail of 800 million Ghana cedis with 6 sureties. Earlier, Assibey Antwi pleaded not guilty to 14 counts of stealing, causing financial loss to the state and money. As part of the bail conditions, the sureties are to submit their IDs to the court's registry and justify their guarantee with landed properties. Osei Assibey is to report to the NIB every first and third Wednesday of the month. He's also banned from leaving the country. Meanwhile, former Buffer Stock CEO Hanan, Abdul-Wahab, Aludiba, and wife Faiza Said have pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of stealing, fraudulently causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, and intentional dissipation of public funds. We will speak to our current correspondent, Lord Edu Asari, who has been sitting through all these proceedings, and bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. But to other stories, the Ghana Armed Forces has confirmed the arrest of a soldier captured on CCTV assaulting a female customer and a pharmacy attendant inside Burma Camp in Accra. The suspect, identified as Warrant Officer Class 1 W01 Mensa Williams, was seen in a footage repeatedly slapping the attendant before turning on a young woman believed to be a customer, striking her several times after she attempted to record the incident on her phone. A statement signed by the Acting Director General of Public Relations for the Ghana Armed Forces, Captain Veronica Adjo-Ahin, said the arrest was carried out at dawn today by military police personnel. The suspect is currently assisting with investigations. According to the statement, the victims had received medical treatment and are also cooperating with investigators. It added that the Ghana Armed Forces does not condone any act of assault on civilians and will not shield any officer found culpable. Let's stay a while longer on this and speak to security consultant and lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peace Training Center, Dr. Victor Doke. Doc, thank you for joining us on our Midday News this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
What does this incident say about discipline and accountability within Ghana's security institutions, especially when such acts occur inside a high security zone like the Burma Camp?
Well, I think, what it tells us is, of course, no system is perfect. You would always have 1 or 2 incidents such as these, and then it will test the mechanisms with regards to your response to, these situations. Now, in the situations such as this, investigations are ongoing. The suspect has been picked up. So you would expect that when the system which is in place, having been thoroughly examined by the military in place, would be swift with regards to justice, with regards to sitting the case and gathering information, evidence or whatever which is available, widespread evidence, then the sanctions will be also swift meted out to the suspect. Other than that, what it means is that the notion of perception that the security service do not like to, be accountable will still hold within some people's imaginations. But when we do this is really a test case for the military itself, the military police to come out and then strictly address this issue, so it would, bring back some level of confidence and trust from the populace. Assuming this happened in another country, we will see that things would have gone differently. That all the situation also calls for us, we citizens, civilians, to also be aware of our situation, situational awareness. Anytime, any day, we are out there and something is about to happen, we should preempt and then, protect ourselves as much as possible.
And Doc, you rightly mentioned the issue of public confidence. How does incidents like this affect public confidence in the military's professionalism and its relationship with civilians? There's already that notion that the military is brazen and all.
Yeah. It derails the public confidence when we don't get results, when we don't see things happening. So the Public Directorate of the Armed Forces has issued a statement. Now, it would be good and very, very right if they come back to us and tell us that the said person and so has been sanctioned per the military guidelines, because they have their own standard operation procedures. Okay, that is why we are not seeing it happening in the civilian space. They have their own standard operating procedures and believe in their system, prepared in discipline and whatnot. So this is why the military police picked up the gentleman. And you can see from that video that even the gentleman was even wanted to have a back and forth, was running into the car. So that also tells us how we should reorient our men in uniform from time to time to what? Sort of like tame their temperament. Everybody has that temperament, but how do we, tame our temperament in situations such as this so it does not escalate for the whole world to see? But I hope that everything will go straightly so that our international reputation, regards to our men who go for peacekeeping, will not be soiled or labeled in a particular manner.
Doc, so would you go in for the two-pronged approach where, in as much as we know that he's in the military custody and they're also carrying out their own investigations, he's also released to the police because we know the issue has also been reported to the police so that the police also does their own investigation?
No, it will just be repetitive. The military have their own way of dealing with such issues when it comes to discipline and maintaining order. When it comes to their men. So I think the military should handle it, and rest assured, I'm hoping and praying that everything should go swiftly and then the sanctions will be meted out. That what we hear, or when we hear, we'll be saying, yes, this is the right sanctions. And rest assured, it will be sanctioned. But I think it should be swift enough. It shouldn't take more than 72 hours for sanctions to come out. But it will be sanctioned and it will serve as a deterrent to others.
What immediate steps would you recommend the Ghana Armed Forces take to prevent similar occurrences and ensure officers are held to the highest standards of conduct?
Well, I think internally they need to do what I call an assessment with regards to whether if everybody is having an issue. Because this issue really is a temperament growing up and then not being able to be emotionally intelligent to manage the situation. What are the outfits that exist that they can build up with regards to counseling and offering services or whatever? If somebody is going through a situation, I think they should look at that, offer services to those men who are going through situations so that it doesn't get to this stage. Now, secondly, what we also need to do or hear from them is assurance. And the assurance comes with when the investigations, everything is done and the sanctions are meted out to the said soldier. That also would send a message to the populace for trust. Holistically, what is the state also doing in all of this? How can we bridge the gap that is, everyday dividing and all of that between civilians and the security apparatus, sensitization and education on how to deal with all these things.
Right. Doc, thank you for talking to us. Dr. Victor Doke is a security consultant and lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Let's return to court, where the former director of the National Service Authority, Osei Assibey Antwi, has been granted bail of 800 million Ghana cedis with 6 sureties. Earlier, Assibey Antwi pleaded not guilty to 14 counts of stealing, causing financial loss to the state and money. As part of the bail conditions, the sureties are to submit their IDs to the court's registry and justify their guarantee with landed properties. Osei Assibey is reported to the NIB every first and third Wednesday of the month and also banned from leaving the country. To the second issue, the former Buffer Stock CEO Hanan, Abdul-Wahab, Aludiba and wife Faiza Seidu have pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of stealing, fraudulently causing financial loss to the state, money laundering and intentional dissipation of public funds. Let's connect with Lord Edwasari now. Lord, talk to us about the proceedings in court today. 2 major issues the country is following this morning.
Indeed, Grace. So we'll start with the former National Service Authority Director, Osei Assibey Antwi. Now, the prosecution led by Dr. Justice Swam, the Deputy Attorney General, indicated that, among other things, from August 2021 to February 2025, over 500 million Ghana cedis was paid as allowances to ghost names. Now, these ghost names culminated about over 63,000 individuals, and this was approved by Osei Assibey Antwi. Additionally, the former director also acquired an e-switch. Now, Grace, we know that this was a mode of payments for national service persons. They were all supposed to register with their eSwitch. And then
so
go
the
to
amount
bank
is transferred into the eSwitch account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the director himself also registered an eSwitch in his name. His biometrics were actually taken. This was in 2022. And he submitted it to gifts as a service personnel from 2022 to 2024. And during that period, he was paid a total of 8.2 million, 8,256,000 cedis, according to the prosecution. Now, while all this was going on, when he handed over, the prosecution added that his successor was unaware of the eSwitch card that Osei Assibey possessed because he hid it from him. Now, when they raided his home after investigations, that's when they discovered this card. So after all this, the lawyer for Osei Assibey Antwi, led by Osei Wusu, he prayed for bail, indicating that the former director of the National Service Authority has served in various capacities in the country. So he's someone that can be trusted. He's not flight risk. He's called upon to come to court. And so essentially was praying for bail for his client. The prosecution did not oppose to the bail application. However, Dr. Justice Ramsay indicated that due to the nature of the case, the amount involved 1.5 billion Ghana cedis in total. And he added that this has been the highest amount that has been misappropriated. And Grace, we've had a number of cases that the Attorney General has been
yes.
This has been the highest so far. And so he was saying that the bail conditions should be placed in such a way that it would deter him from leaving the country and called upon whenever the case is called. And so it was on the back of this that the court granted Osei Assibey an 800 million Ghana cedi bail. And again, this since the case started, this has been the the highest amount given as bail to an accused person. 6 sureties all to be justified with landed property whose value should match up the amount involved. He's also supposed to deposit his passports to the registry. The sureties are also supposed to deposit their IDs to the registry. His name is supposed to be placed on the stop list of the Ghana Immigration Service, among other things.
To prevent him from leaving the country.
Exactly. And the last thing is that he's supposed to report to the NID offices on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. Great. So this is where we are as far as is concerned. Now, when it comes to the buffer stock case, it's actually still ongoing because when I was leaving, his lawyer, led by the former Deputy Attorney General, Joseph Pemka, was praying for bail for him. He was in court together with his wife. The prosecution indicated that the third accused person is currently on the run. 2 others, the companies, corporations registered in the name of his wife, with Hanan only about 80%. So essentially, they took the plea. The plea was taken on behalf of all these persons, with the exception of the third accused, who is on the run. And so currently, Joseph Pemka, the lead counsel for the couple, is praying for bail for the 2 accused persons. And so once we get the details of the bail conditions, we'll come.
Definitely, Lord. We'll come back to you when that case is also heard and finalized. Lord Edward Sari is my colleague, bringing us updates on those 2 cases being prosecuted by the Attorney General. Away from the court, grief and fear over the gruesome murder of a 6-year-old schoolgirl erupted into violent chaos in Swam on Wednesday. A mob of hundreds, enraged by a separate child abduction attempt, besieged and ransacked the local police station, forcing its temporary closure and requiring military backup to restore order. The attack on the state security apparatus highlights a community post to its breaking point just a day after the body of a 6-year-old Jennifer Awimbela, a pupil at Nswaye Methodist MA Primary, was discovered locked inside a plastic box in her classroom. Our reporter Abraham Mensah has been following up on this story and is bringing us updates on it. Abraham, if you can hear me, talk to us now. What triggered this violent clash? We're connecting with Abraham To bring us more on this issue where grief and fear over the gruesome murder of a 6-year-old girl is erupting into violent clash in Swam. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Still about children, though. A 7-year-old girl has suffered burns to her genital area after a 24-year-old woman allegedly punished her for bedwetting. Although the matter was initially reported, the family says police dismissed it because they were told the suspect is not a blood relative. Christabel Trevor has more in this report.
Amina is 7 years old. She bedwets, and because of that, she was allegedly burnt with a hot spoon in her private part. The case was initially closed. However, it has now been reopened. Her mother says she was not informed when it happened.
My daughter told me she wets the bed when she sleeps. The girl then took a hot spoon and placed it under her genitals. Some boys in the area caught the girl and took her to the police station. Her father came to bail her out, and she fled. I was in Medina when it happened last week Wednesday. I was informed about it by someone else.
Amina confirmed she was burned after wetting the bed, something health experts say is common among children and requires support, not punishment.
If I sleep and I urinate on the bed, and one day she takes food and put inside fire, and she burned my hair, and she bathed for me, and she let me go to school, and I went to school, and somebody come and sit on my ear, and I've cried, and some madam come, and she told me that what happened, and I showed for her this thing, and she went and sent for the headmaster, and they said that they should send me to hospital, and they didn't send me.
A child rights advocate says reporting a case like this does not require the complainant to be a family member.
A stranger goes to report it to DOSU, and the family come in and they say he's not a family member, and a police officer tells the man to withdraw the case because it has nothing to do with him. That's where I have a problem, because how you are DOSU, there's a reason why you are there. You are there to protect the child. Even if I would say the community doesn't know any better or the family wants to cover up for themselves, what are you there as an institution for? You are supposed to be protecting the child.
Under Ghana's child protection framework, abuse by a caregiver, tenant, or any adult in a household is prosecutable. Child Rights International says dismissing the case because the suspect is not a family member contradicts the law and weakens child protection.
These are things that would leave a mark in the life of the child forever. And for you to deal with the social aspects, that is where we want a response to some of the things like bringing in the criminal aspect and then also providing the social services that would also let the child feel good about herself. The other two, which is psychological and emotional, it takes some time for the child to heal. That is why even the law says that in such circumstances, we need to put them under rehabilitation program.
As the family pushes for justice, Child Rights Group insists the way this case is handled will show whether children are only safe within blood relations or whether the law protects them from all adults who abuse them. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
And here in the studio, my name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's do other stories now. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that Ghana has become the first African nation to make a financial contribution to the International Fund for Public Interest Media, a move he described as a demonstration of Ghana's strong belief in the vital role of independent journalism and credible information. He was speaking at the closing of the Paris Peace Forum.
In addition, I'm proud to declare that Ghana will become the first African country to make a financial contribution to the International Fund for Public Interest Media. This gesture reflects our conviction that independent journalism and reliable information are indispensable public goods. The time has come for all of us to translate our shared ideals into tangible action. to demonstrate genuine commitment to supporting public interest media and safeguarding the integrity of information. Together, we must work to win the global war against misinformation and disinformation. We leave this conference reminded that disinformation is not an abstract issue. It is shaping elections, it distorts public health response, it fuels conflicts, and undermines the fight against climate change. A decade after the Paris Accord, falsehood continues to erode public confidence in science and policy. If we're to build a sustainable planet, we must also make an informed public.
President John Dramani Mahama there. Let's go back to the Western region and talk to Abraham Mensah, our reporter, who is bringing us updates on the clash that erupted in Swam over the near abduction of a 6-year-old girl. Abraham, what triggered this violent clash and what is the police doing now to restore calm to the community?
So the news broke about the death of one Jennifer Arimbele, who is a 6-year-old pupil at Swam Methodist Area Basic School. The body was found on a Tuesday morning by colleagues who were sweeping the classroom. And before then, the parents had reported on various community information centers about their missing child. They've actually involved the police, notified them about the incident, hoping to get their child found alive, only to be hit by that unfortunate news. It was a sad, scene at the school yesterday. The police so far have not been able to name a suspect yet, but the parents are seriously devastated. It was later in the evening yesterday that news broke about a suspected abduction by a 25-year-old Suleiman Moses, who was attempting to abduct some 2 girls, Caroline, 5 years old, and Emily, 7 years old. These are sisters within the neighborhood. I'm told they had closed from school and were trying to reach out to the mother, who sells bread at a transformer nearby. One storekeeper alerted some residents over a suspicion because of what had the most recent incident to get the suspect questioned whether or not there is any kind of a relationship between those 2 girls. They through the interaction, the suspect claimed he is an uncle to the girls. Unfortunately, the girls resisted, claiming they did not know the gentleman. So they took the suspect over to the local police station for further interrogation, only for news to break out that there is a likely, kidnap case within their community, and that they fear the police might not even do what is needful. They do not trust the police to go to get to the bottom of this investigation and let the suspect loose. So they stormed the premises, demanding that the police release the suspect for them to effect instant justice. This was met with some resistance by the police. It ran through from 6 p.m. to late, almost 9 p.m. yesterday. The police exchanged some gunshots. The residents set some motorbikes blaze, break the shells of some pickups. Reinforcements were called in from the Takwa Central Police Station. That did not even, help.
Right. So has calm been restored to the community this morning?
Calm has been restored. However, the municipal chief executive is expecting to pay a visit to the police station and that of the family of Jennifer and the 2 other girls who nearly fell victim to the kidnap case.
All right, Abraham, thank you for those updates. Abraham Mensah, I'm calling in the Western region. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some more stories. The National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, has set up a committee to investigate report of co-payments under the National Health Insurance Scheme. This follows widespread complaints that some health facilities continue to operate a cash and carry system, illegally charging patients who are already covered under the scheme. Reports say ongoing challenges with the national digital platform have worsened the situation, forcing some facilities to demand instant cash payments from subscribers. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando And NHIA Chief Executive Officer Dr. Victor Bampo said measures are being implemented to address the issue.
It is evidence. 37 Kolebu teaching hospitals, and then their patients are still paying for services that's supposed to be free. I would like to ask you, what strategy or steps are you taking to address this for Madagana?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, when you are put in a public office, you identify challenges and your responsibility is to face the challenges. When we took office as a government, some of the challenges facing national health insurance, 1 was the delay in payment, 2, the capping, 3, unrealistic payment of tariffs, and then the 4th one is what they call, they've given it a very nice name, but it's not a nice thing, co-payment. And so when we took office, we've taken our time to be taking the problems one after the other. Now, new tariffs have been developed. Now the uncapping has been done. Now we have prompt releases. What is left, and I must be very, very honest with the committee, is the issue of co-payment, where in some cases when you go to some facilities, though you have the national health insurance card, some of the facilities will be asking you to pay more. We have not completely dealt with that, but plans are far in advance. We have stakeholders engagement. It has come up strongly, and so I will allow the CEO to throw light on the strategies we are adopting, what we are doing at the moment to deal with the issue of co-payment. CEO.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honourable Minister. So as Honourable Minister said, there were a few issues that were bringing this up. The irregular payments, which now we're paying monthly. The service and medicines tariffs have been reviewed. The medicines tariffs are now realistic and have been in place since March this year. The service tariffs will be implemented in a few months after Honourable Minister and the board approve it. The third one is that even despite us doing this, as the what has been mentioned, some of the facilities have people who still collect monies, and they call it co-payment or top-ups. We've set up a committee to deal with this, and we have a strict sanctions regime. So once we are also doing our part, paying regularly and paying realistically, as soon as we realize that these facilities are collecting monies which they term co-payments, which are illegal payments, we will apply those sanctions that are in our law. And it could include getting them off this scheme, which is a very important scheme. So we want to actually also name and shame. For example, I want to put it on record that Goso Hospital, they have clearly stated that they will not allow top-ups, and they are implementing that. So we are encouraging the hospitals, and there are quite a number of them, we are encouraging the hospitals that have put this in place, and we will sanction those that are doing the wrong thing. Thank you, Chair.
That was the Chief Executive Officer for the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Victor Bampo, ending the midday news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. Good afternoon. Business is up next with Bismarck Awisa.